I had this crazy vivid dream in 7th grade. I dreamt that there was a white van parked outside my house. A man got out, walked to my house, broke in, then went to my brother's room and killed him. I woke up freaked out. It was 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I went into the kitchen and turned the light on. A few seconds later, the headlights on a white cargo van outside flipped on and sped away. Ah! That's so not cool. I had a nightmare when I was 7 years old that I still think about to this day, and I was 7 years old when I had the nightmare, but in my dream I was 26, or like I looked around this age, so I'm always like, what do I need to do? So that's super freaky, man. Dreams are some weird realm we live in when we sleep, and I quote, "My friend and I were talking to our roommate and her girlfriend one night. Roommate had just received her new phone and was sitting in bed using it while the four of us chatted. So roommate had sat her phone down while we were all chatting. She goes to pick it back up and it's gone. Like she had just set it down for a few minutes tops before she noticed that the thing was poofed. I call it for her and we can't hear it. We take the comforter and the sheets off the bed and shake them all out. We look under the bed, behind it, everywhere we can. The phone is gone. Even though we hadn't left her room at all during our conversation when the phone disappeared, we tore apart the whole apartment trying to find it. Finally, we decided to try her car. It was in the locked trunk. We lived on the 3rd floor and we're all in the same room watching her use it before it teleported." That is so weird. And I feel like that's happened to every one of us at one time. Like we'll put something down, it's completely gone. It just appears somewhere we had no idea it would be. Like that's nuts. Oh, that happened to me though. I lost a gem in one of my rings and it fell on the floor and I found it the next day in the kitchen. And my dad was there and I was like, "Dad, I'm gonna put this right here, okay? Don't move it." And he didn't touch it. And then next thing I know, I go to look over and it's completely disappeared and no one touched it in the house. An off-duty EMT was driving home through a storm when he spotted a Mercedes parked past a barricade with its hazard lights on. He stopped and walked over to it, shining his light in the back seat where he saw a man slumped over as if he were sleeping. In the driver's seat was a man sitting upright, staring straight ahead. He didn't blink, move, or respond to taps on the window, and the other passenger was slumped forward on the dashboard. Creeped out, the EMT stepped away to call the sheriff's station. Dispatch asked him for the license plate number, but when he went to check, a large truck was coming down the road, so he waited for it to pass. When it did, the car was suddenly gone. There were trees in one direction, barricades in the other, leaving the man wondering how in the world this car and its mysterious occupants could have simply vanished. Magic? Man, the things EMTs and like police officers see, you know? Like, they probably see some pretty weird stuff because they're the people call when weird stuff is happening or when awful stuff happens. And I don't know how that doesn't just haunt them every night. It probably does. So, poor guy, just another day at the job. Hey everyone, it's Rachel Fisher back in with Top 10 Central Dark, and I'm so stoked because we have top 10 real glitches in the Matrix stories that will shock you. So let's get started. I'm excited already. I was sitting in my office one day when my desk phone rings, and it is my undersheriff asking me to bring him all the reports, dispatch logs, and any documentation ref to a specific so I get it all together and start towards his office. I meet him in the hallway and hand him the paperwork. He asked what it was. I told him it's the documentation you asked for. He then swears he never asked me for it, that he had just arrived and not called my office. He was on his way down the hall to ask me to get it together. So this is definitely a case of particles traveling back in time. It's time travel. And also a glitch in the Matrix, whatever you believe. Oh no, we did this ahead of time. He hasn't arrived yet. That's what the aliens are saying as they're controlling our simulated reality. Just so you know, that's how they would say that. Someone recalls their dad having a little toy monkey that he used to teasingly say was his favorite child. It was an ongoing joke. This person and their siblings would try to steal the monkey, playing into it. One day they got a hold of the monkey and drew all over it with a Sharpie, then threw it in the garbage. They laughed when their dad searched for it, but he gave up when he figured they'd thrown it out. A few years later, this person was walking down the street in Toronto when they saw an orange object on the side of the road. They walked up to it and it was the exact same toy monkey, black Sharpie lines and all. This person is still stunned, unable to figure out how this is possible when their garbage is sent to a local dump that's nowhere near Toronto. I mean, people pull things out of dumps all the time, so that could have just been a very weird, universal serendipitous moment. I mean, people throw away stuff in the dump all the time that could still be used, so maybe somebody saw that monkey and went, I don't know, I'm drawn to it. Here's one from my brother, quote, I don't think our mom believed him, but I certainly do. He seemed spooked when he got home. He was sitting in the passenger seat, driving home alongside my mom. A bright green car swerved and hit them, knocking bits and pieces of glass into his arm. He jolted awake afterwards, just in time to see the green car pass them. He claimed he felt the marks the glass left afterwards too. Again, dreams, right? They just kind of seem, I wonder, I really do wonder, whether dreams are when our consciousness reaches into those alternate universes and lives out a day in the life. Very strange, that would be very funny. One evening, I was getting out of a Rotterdam subway when I spotted an old friend who I hadn't seen in a few years in the subway too. I call out his name, he turns, waves, and makes the call me gesture. The doors closed and the subway rode off. 30 seconds later, my phone rang. It was my friend who told me he'd just seen me as I got on the train heading home from the bar. Apparently I had grinned, waved, and gestured, call me, then the door shut and the train drove off. I lived in Rotterdam. He lived in Enschede. That's just over 200 kilometers or about 125 miles apart. I mean, I'm kind of one of those people that the subway is a little bit of my like alone time. Like unless I see someone that I haven't seen in years that I used to be really close with, I'll like explode with happiness. But if it's like that acquaintance, I'm always like, oh, but I want to listen to my audiobook. That's pretty freaky though. That's really, really weird. I always find running into somebody on the subway that you were just thinking about really eerie, and it happens all the time to me. So this story I 100% believe. A boy and his mom were in a woodsy area near their backyard taking pictures of old cars to sell. Suddenly there was a rustling in the bushes and his mom told him to run, so he booked it. As he sprinted, he heard a clanking sound as if someone had jumped on the cars. He arrived at his house in a panic, only to find his mom sitting at the table reading the paper. He asked his mother about it as an adult, and while she remembers having cars in the backyard that she sold, she doesn't recall this incident ever happening. Maybe she was replaced by the robot! Oh man, but my parents don't remember stuff that happened when I was a kid all the time. It's like they have selective memories. Mind you, my roommate pulls up stuff from high school that I just don't remember, and I don't know how she remembers them. Was on a road trip with family once. We stayed at a hotel for a night. Our room was nothing more than 2 beds and a restroom with a mirror on across from the beds. Everyone went to sleep but me. I stayed up playing a mobile game I was addicted to at the time. At about 2 a.m. I went to sleep. When I woke up, I noticed something was just ever so slightly off. The mirror was gone, the room had 2 separate bedrooms, and there were 3 beds. Apparently, I was the only one who noticed it because my family called me crazy. Still confused as to this day as to what happened. Again, dreams, right? Like that also happened to a woman I wrote about in another video where like she had different pajamas, she had different bed sheets, she went to work at the same building, but she worked in an entirely different apartment. I swear to God, dreams are where we go. Dreams are how we teleport. It's the key. Let's find a way. Or it's just the aliens again laughing. Oh no, we messed up. We meant to put 3 beds. Ooh. One evening, a man and his wife returned home from dinner. When he opened the door, he saw his wife sitting at the computer doing work, which is a normal sight when he gets off work, except for the fact that she was entering the house with him. When they went to bed, he told her that he'd inexplicably seen her sitting at the computer earlier. She got very serious and told him that she had seen herself sitting at the computer too. Creepy. That's so weird. I don't even know how to explain that. That actually kind of reminds me of one of the parallel universe stories I wrote about earlier this week, which you'll probably see. That where that kind of happened, where people kept seeing their boss in different places. I don't know, maybe it's a parallel universe. Learned a lot about those recently. My brain hurts. Anyway, that was our top 10 real glitches in the Matrix stories that will shock you. I hope they did. They kind of shocked me, as you saw. I was flabbergasted. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, you know what to do. Stay tuned for bloopers because there were some today. If you like this video, you know what to do. Just thing, like it. Like it, subscribe. Do you have any weird stories? Do you have any absurd moments of deja vu that you just can't explain? Let us know. We love hearing about them, as you know. I've been your host, Rachel Fisher, and until next time, take care and stay scared. Dark. I love visiting, or I love being here. It's just great. Okay, I feel like I've been watching way too much New Girl. Is there such thing as too much New Girl? No. Oh man, I just really feel myself is so fucking basic. Okay, whatever. Okay. Enschede? I don't know how to pronounce that. he lived in Enshade. Enshade? But that is super strange how it ended up. Oh my God, the cat. Suddenly, there was a rustling in the bushes. The bushes? Suddenly. Do you remember that one time you sang to a sandwich? No. Anyways, I'm rambling. Let's move on to number 6. When he spotted a Mercedes parked, I don't know why I said it like that. Yeah, I'm a lot today. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, there's a flower in my water. Get out of there, baby breath. Anyways, guys, what?